I'm surprised to say that I just played one of the strangest MMOs out there. And no, by strange, I don't mean wizards with guns. What I mean by strange is the combination of two completely different genres. A sandbox with an MMO. Something I didn't think was even possible, dude. But fortunately, a game like that already exists. So let me introduce you to Wurm Online, a game that has been out for more than 15 years. Yeah, since 2006 this damn thing has existed. And all this time it has stayed pretty stable with a very united community. Well, not as united as the WoW community, but united enough, dude. These guys even held parties, events, and wars. But despite all the adversity, they all had something in common. They all wanted to keep Wurm Online alive. Even though today, it's pretty different. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. For now, I'd like to talk to you a bit about the premise, which is pretty simple. You know, the typical medieval game. But in this one, you basically grind your ass off until death. And while researching a bit more about the game, I found their website, where they promise you incredible things. Creating your own non-linear story to leave your mark inside the world of Wurm Online. Whether with your huge constructions, becoming the blacksmith capable of forging legendary weapons, or simply being a farmer that peacefully lives on his land. Basically being whatever you want, contributing whatever you want to the world of Wurm Online. Like you could even become the next Oppenheimer of Wurm Online, or just a peaceful farmer living on his land. But no matter what you are, somehow you have to contribute to the world, because everything is made by the players themselves. And yes, it sounds amazing, but what we really have to ask is, does it actually deliver what it promises? And most importantly, how is a game doing today that depends 100% on its players? And to answer those questions, I had to jump into the game and play for a shit ton of hours. But I have to admit something. I wasn't prepared for this. Like, I really didn't think I was about to start one of the hardest games I've ever played. So please get comfortable because I really want you to enjoy this masterpiece. So yeah, I spawned in a small town in what seems to be the tutorial. Here they taught me how to move, how to switch cameras, the basics. But walking a bit further, I found a forest where they very simply taught me how to chop trees with the magical and incredible command. Right click, chop. Although I have to say, the interface is overwhelming as hell. So many buttons and weird shit, but since I'm a complete engineer, I got used to it quickly and kept moving. Finally, I finished the tutorial, and they automatically threw me into what looked like the real world. But honestly, I wasn't ready. I still didn't know a damn thing. And since all I knew how to do was walk and right-click everything, I limited myself to exploring the city. It seemed like we were on top of a mountain with a landscape that, as some artists would say, looked kind of plastic-ish. The town itself was weird. Only a few guards and 2 buildings. Basically one house and 1 tower. Unfortunately, the whole place was completely empty. The only spark of life were those guards who didn't even have personalities. So the loneliness made one question pop up. What should I do? Couldn't stay in this town forever. I had to fly. So I prepared myself. I crafted weapons to slay a dragon, sought ancient magic to empower myself, and no. Fortunately, the game knows I'm an idiot and gave me a full set of gear in my inventory. So I was basically full diamond, like the kids say. I had my sword, my axe, everything I needed to survive outside for a while. So I followed a stone path that didn't give me a good vibe. And not for nothing. I hadn't walked even 10 seconds when I found death. A small dead wolf beside a goblin. An epic fight, worthy of being seen. I kept going, and this place didn't seem to give me any clues about where it would take me. So I stopped for a moment to explore the game a bit, using what I learned in the tutorial. Right-click, chop. And I don't know what the hell the game thought I was doing, but it suddenly played tense music. Like my life depended on chopping this tree. Then I heard a horse dying, so I quickly walked toward the sound.
It could be a monster killing something.
Or even better, a human. I walked for a good while, and luckily the sound never stopped, so I could easily follow it. I walked, and when I thought I was about to arrive, I just didn't. But since the sound was still going, I wasn't going to give up. If it really was a human, he could guide me and help me with the game. So I kept walking, until finally I saw something in the distance. A real person. I felt hopeful but weird. It was like finding someone in an apocalypse, even though I've never been in an apocalypse. And sadly, he was too far away to notice me, so I followed him. But it took me an eternity to catch up, since he was on a damn donkey. Like, he had to be an advanced player to own that. My biggest fear was that this person wouldn't be friendly. He had been killing animals for a while. What if he just turned around and stabbed me in the chest? So while he was skinning a horse, I approached him and said, "Hi, I'm new." "Welcome to the game," he said. He seemed like a good person, just farming. He wasn't going to kill me, or so it seemed. I started telling him that I had no idea what I was supposed to do, and he told me it was a common problem. And after saying that, he kept skinning that poor horse. He basically ignored my cry for help. Still, I was curious about what was going on with the game, so I asked him if it was dead. He told me no, it's not very popular, but it still has a pretty active community. But this guy wasn't that old either. He had only been playing for 1 week. He asked me if I had picked up the starting quests, and I was like, "What quests, dude?" Out of kindness, he offered to take me to the quests. On the way, we found a half-built house, so I asked him if I could build wherever I wanted. He said yes, and at that moment, something turned on in my brain. I wanted my own house. Imagine building it wherever I wanted, on a lake, on a mountain, anywhere. And anyone who entered Wurm Online could find my contribution to the game, so I couldn't leave without building one. We finally found the path and headed back to the city. Along the way, he started telling me general things, like that people here are very friendly, and I believe him, dude. He's literally helping me do the starter quests. Walking a bit further, we found another person, and my friend greeted him with a very creepy in-game voice.
Hello, how are you?
Obviously, it wasn't his real voice. We finally reached the city, where my buddy told me to grab one of the main starter quests. He said that if I followed them from A to Z, I'd end up with my house, and he would even help me through the missions. The first quest explained how to get mallets and sickles with hundreds of steps, the first one being chopping wood. Thus began my favorite moment, the farming hour. I started chopping trees, hundreds of them, and when I was done, the quest didn't complete. My friend explained that I needed to find an older tree, and that right-click arrow inspect tells you what type of tree it is. And I mean, he forgot to tell me that tiny detail. This is the kind of overly complex shit that makes the game a headache. I don't know how the hell I would ever play this alone. Anyway, now we had to craft the mallet. And I won't lie, this crafting process is horrible. Like, the recipe for the mallet is this. But to craft that, you need to craft something else first. And that requires something else all the way until you get back to the damn log you chopped. You have to craft sticks, the mallet head, have a knife to shape it. It's horrible, dude. But when I finally finished the mallet, my friend took me to a mine because that was the next quest. And along the way, a good Samaritan with a huge horse approached me and asked if I wanted a gift. Obviously, I said yes, and it was a donkey. He told me to please not quit the game, to give it a chance, and that if I needed anything, I could message him. He sent me a friend request and accompanied us on the quest. From one moment to another, I had a donkey and 2 more friends giving me a personalized tutorial. They took me to the mine, and the complicated part was just beginning. First I had to get metal. Done. Then craft kindling to make a campfire. Done. Then smelt the iron. Had to wait 10 minutes, but done. After all that crafting, I finally got a damn sickle that I won't even use because I don't even have a house. It was easily one of the longest quests I've ever done in any game. I spent like 4 hours doing this, to the point that my friends Mayor and Warwin had to go to sleep. I never said their names before because they're hard as hell to pronounce. Before leaving, they gave me a final pep talk, telling me not to give up on Wurm Online, that it was an amazing game, and that they'd be playing tomorrow to help me again. Honestly, the Wurm Online community is surprisingly kind and united. You definitely don't see this in other games. So from here on out, I had to continue alone. And not to make this too long, every mission was the same: farm and farm, chop and mine. But after hours of farming, I realized something different compared to other MMOs. This farming is peaceful. In my 8 hours of gameplay, I hadn't used my sword at all. So before continuing with my goal of building a house, I decided to explore the world. But first I had to sleep. Not in-game. In real life, because I had been playing this thing for hours, I set up a tent my friends gave me, tied my donkey, and went to sleep. The next day, everything was exactly the same, except no one was online. Remembering my desire to explore, I quickly stored everything, mounted my donkey, and returned to the city. From there, I took the first road I had taken in the game, the one that led me to my companions for the first time. But now, instead of stopping to farm logs, I would just walk and see where it led. My goal now was to kill something, anything. I didn't even know how PvE or PvP worked, so after walking a lot, I decided to head into the forest. I kept walking and walking, literally a fucking walking simulator. Until finally, after several minutes, I found my first victim, a wolf. I quickly drew my sword and a menu popped up. I didn't understand anything, so I just clicked one of the 8 attack options randomly. And holy, what an epic fight. It almost killed me, but I finally did it. I killed the wolf, and I wasn't proud. It didn't help me at all, and I was literally dying. So I tried to find my way back to the city. Near where I was, I found a small house with crops, pretty cozy. Being nosy, I managed to enter the house. I saw several chests and tried to steal stuff, but the game didn't let me. Definitely something like that is what I'd want for my house. But on top of a mountain, that would be sick, dude. I left the place and found another stone path that led to a mine. A pretty nice place. They even had a statue of a demon or whatever that thing was. But at the doorway, I made the mistake of getting off the donkey and it got stuck. I couldn't mount it. I spent several minutes trying until I remembered that if I just moved away, the donkey would follow me. So yeah, it worked. With my little donkey, I returned to the city and healed myself with some bandages in my inventory. The healing system is weird as hell, but I got full HP and made it back to town. And then, I made the worst decision of my life. I discovered that the diamond where I originally spawned could teleport me to other worlds. And when I say worlds, I mean huge worlds. Obviously, I got curious and didn't think twice. I went to a world called Harmony. I appeared without my donkey in the middle of a huge city. I saw giant bridges in the distance, badass horses, well-decorated paths, boats, and a whole city. But no people. It was completely desolate. Walking a bit and admiring the scenery, I found an area that looked like a market, but it was totally empty. It was just me, the sound of the wind, and massive structures. I kept exploring the city, but it had no charm. It was literally a hollow shell, and I hated it. I hated the city so much that I decided to return to where I was. But I didn't know what was about to happen. I entered the portal and appeared back in my original world. My donkey was still there, untouched. The problem was that using the portal reset my character. Now I had nothing. The rope I used to tie my donkey, gone. My tools, gone. The wooden minerals I processed, gone. I had nothing. For the next 2 hours, I tried to recover everything I lost without my donkey, without my tools. But I got burnt out and quit, and I spent almost 12 hours on this game just to end up with nothing. Honestly, I have to say my journey wasn't unpleasant. On the contrary, the friends I met made this experience unique. I feel sad for not continuing the game because I promised them. They helped me so much for hours, gave me so many things, and I lost it all just like that. But honestly, I can't keep playing the game. I don't feel like it. It's too hard and too slow. If my brain even touches this game again, it'll explode. And it's no wonder the game is so abandoned. And I must say, it's not a bad game. It's just not for everyone.